Hey guys, welcome back to Praxis. I want to look today at the spiritual practice from the life of Jesus that is silence and solitude. And if those two words sound negative and fill you with dread, then you're not alone. That was certainly the case for me. But just pause, wait a second. There's something really awesome in this practice. I just want to read a verse of scripture quickly. This is from Luke chapter 5, verse 16. It says, "But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed." Jesus often, not once or twice, but often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. We see this a number of times in the Gospels. Jesus, in the midst of life, in the midst of busyness, stops, gets away from it all intentionally, removes himself. He gets on a boat and goes somewhere. He goes up into the mountains. He goes to the lonely place, the place where he's by himself, the place of solitude, and he prays. He goes to the place of silence, of quiet, and of solitude. If Jesus needed to get away from it and to go to the place to be by himself in the quiet, at the place of silence and solitude, then so do we. And I think we find it really hard. I am a big extrovert. Silence is not my best friend. Solitude is not always my best friend, but I've been learning more and more how, whilst it might not be my most natural partner, my word, do I need it. My word, without silence and solitude in my spiritual walk, it lacks depth. Because what happens is, if we're constantly in a place where there's noise and other people around us, actually often we can miss what God is saying to us. It gets drowned out. And it's only when we go to the place where we're by ourselves and where it's quiet that we can notice God's presence with us, where we can hear his voice. So I wondered this week whether we might try and go to the place of silence and solitude and try out this practice, maybe just for a couple of minutes each day. Just find somewhere, could be in your house, you could go out for a walk. It doesn't need to be any kind of rules to this, but it's just got to be a place where it's going to be quiet, where you're not going to be bombarded by other noises and distractions, and a place where you're going to be able to be on your own. You know, someone else isn't going to come through and be like, "Oh, could you come and do this?" You can be on your own, you can be undistracted. It could just be for 5 minutes. Maybe just find yourself in that place, maybe read a psalm slowly. Maybe just sit there and just ask God to come and meet with you and see what he says. If one key that I've learnt to making this work though, it's this: planning. And depending on your personality, again, that will either be like a positive word or a negative one. I am a spontaneous person. Planning sounds like bad news to me. But what I've learned is that if I don't plan, I don't pray. I like to think of myself as sort of spontaneous, and for years I used to sort of be like, "Oh no, I'm only going to pray when I feel like it, because that's when it's authentic." And I realised that I never ever really felt like it, so I never ever really prayed. And now that I plan that time in to do that, I find I pray much more. But more than that, I find that actually I'm led more into spontaneous times of prayer because I have those planned times of prayer. So plan it in. Particularly if you live a busy life, if you've got kids, you're going to need to plan it. You're going to need to arrange for the kids to be looked after. You're going to need to arrange for you to not be interrupted by email. You're going to need to arrange for the phone to be off. You're probably going to need to diary it in. But plan it. All it needs to be is 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes just by yourself in that place of silence and solitude. Let's try it out and let's see what Jesus might do in and through us as we kind of engage in this.